So let's start with fraction addition. So if you have two fractions, let's say we have 1/2 plus 1/3. Okay, in order to add these fractions, we first have to create something called a common denominator. Remember, our denominator is the bottom part of a fraction, the numerator is the top. What we need in order to add fractions are bottom numbers, denominators, which are the same. Okay, as you can see here, 2 and 3 are not the same. So we need to make two new fractions that resemble or are similar to our first fractions, but these two new fractions need to have bottom denominators which are the same. So the easiest way to do this, the way that works every time, okay, is to simply take the denominator from one of the fractions and multiply that number by the top and bottom of the second fraction. Then take the denominator of the second fraction, multiply it by top and bottom of the first, and give yourself two new fractions. You should have 3/6 plus, now you'll have 2/6. Okay? And you'll notice the new fractions you've created are the same as the other ones. If we divide by 2 in this fraction, we get 1/3 again. If we divide by 3 on this fraction, we get 1/2. So these fractions are the same as our original fractions. Okay? All we've done is we've changed them. We've multiplied them top and bottom by the same number, multiplied them by 1 essentially, and created two new fractions that now have a common denominator. Now that we have a common denominator, we can go ahead and add. So 3 plus 2 is 5. And the bottoms, we simply use the same bottom as 6. So 5/6. So in order to add, first thing we need to do is we need to create a common denominator. The easiest way to do this, or the way that works every time at least, is to take the denominator from one fraction, multiply it top and bottom by the other fraction, then take the denominator of the other fraction, multiply it top and bottom from the other fraction. Now you'll have two new fractions, add the tops, keep the bottom, and you have your answer. Okay. Subtraction is really no different. If we have 1/2 minus 1/3, okay, subtracting these, we need to do the same exact thing we do for addition. Okay, we need to create a common denominator. So take your 2, multiply it top and bottom by the second fraction, take this 3, multiply it top and bottom by the first. Now we should have 3/6 minus 2/6. Okay, and we simply, instead of adding the tops, we subtract them. We now have 1, keep the bottom, 1/6, and there's our answer. So, adding and subtracting, not too difficult. All you need to remember is to create common denominators. Okay, multiplying and dividing. And multiplying and dividing fractions isn't all that hard either. That barely even says dividing, does it? Dividing. Okay, multiplying and dividing fractions really isn't too bad. I think it's actually easier than addition and subtraction. Okay, multiplying fractions is really the easiest thing you can do with fractions. Say if we 1/2 times 1/3. Okay, whenever we multiply fractions, all we do is multiply straight across. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. That's all there is. Okay, that's all there is to multiplying. For dividing, okay, if we have 1/2 divided by 1/3, okay, we can do this in two ways. Both ways will give us the same exact answer. Okay. The first way, which you may have learned when you were younger, is simply to do what we call the same change flip. Okay, so first part, we keep the same. So, rewrite it as 1/2, right? We call that same, put little s here. Okay, for division, okay, now we're going to change our division to multiplication. Okay, so we take the division sign, we change it, put a little c, to multiplication. Then, what we're going to do with the last bit, the second fraction, is we're going to flip it. 3 over 1. We change our 1/3 to 3 over 1. So same, change, flip. Then, now it's just multiplication. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 halves, which equals 1 and 1/2 if we want to make it proper. Okay? But that'll work. Okay? It's not any harder to do, there is a second method that'll work. Okay? It'll give you the same exact answer. And it involves simply drawing a little diamond. Okay? You start at the top. You go to the bottom of the second fraction. Then you go to the top. Now multiply. 1 times 3 is 3. Okay? Start at the bottom of this fraction. Go to the top. Then go to the bottom. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 halves reduces, as I said, to 1 and 1/2. And there you go. Works every time. Okay? So now that we have that down, we can do a few things. We can now work expressions with fractions. Okay, so say we have 2 over 3 plus 4 times 1/2. Okay, now we can go ahead and work things like this. Okay, remember, whenever you get an expression, you always need to use PEMDAS. So you need to look at this and say what comes first, addition or multiplication. Okay, going through our steps of PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication. Okay, multiplication is going to come first. So we do 4 times 1/2. Okay, some of you may find it easier to rewrite this problem as 2/3 plus 4 over 1, right? 4 over 1 is the same as 4, so we've just rewritten that, times 1/2. Okay, and then multiply across, we get 4 over, right, 4 times 1 is 4, 1 times 2, 2, okay, plus 2 over 3, okay. So now we move on to our next step. I'm going to start going sideways now so I don't run out of room. Okay, we need to create a common denominator. So, remember, take this, multiply it by top and bottom, take that, multiply it top and bottom, okay. Now 2 times 2, 4, 2 times 3, 6, plus 4 times 3, 12, 2 times 3, 6. Okay. Go ahead and add 16, and then on the bottom, keep it the same, 16/6. Then, if you'd like, you can go ahead and reduce, and you should get, 6 goes into 16 2 times with 4/6 left over, which can be reduced again to 2 and 2 over 3. Okay? And that's your answer for that. So simply, expressions with fractions. As long as you know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions, all you simply need to do is be able to follow the order of operations. Lastly, if you want to work equations with fractions, okay, let's say you have x plus 1/2 equals 3. Okay, this is no harder than anything you've already done. Okay, the goal, remember, of solving for x is to get x by itself. So we need to get rid of plus 1/2. So subtract 1/2. 1/2 minus 1/2 equals 0. X plus 0 is x. If we do it to one side, we do it to the other side. So now we have x equals 3 minus 1/2. Okay, we quickly convert 3 to 6 halves minus 1/2, right? 6 divided by 2 is 3, so I did that. Then subtract these, you should get x equals 5 halves, which is the same as x equals 2 and 1/2. So that should do it. I hope this helps, and I hope you now understand a little better about how to work with fractions.